Hallo Leute und willkommen zurück in einer weiteren Folge Genshin Impact. Wir hatten ja aufgehört und jetzt machen wir auch weiter. Let's go!
Something the matter? Huh. That looks like Flint's lantern. But where is he exactly? Well, we've got the lantern. What now? Oh, Paimon almost screamed out loud. You never said you could do magic like that.
This lantern may have a rather peculiar shape, but so long as it doesn't glow, it won't stand out in the dark. I calculated that you would have already entered, so I chose a spot visible from the window before using light to send you a signal. As I thought, you're both sharp-eyed and on the ball.
The perks of being veteran adventurers, huh?
Your composure is more impressive still. You're right. That required a little trick of my own. But let us leave such trivial topics for a more relaxed moment. Our time is limited after all. Just as I thought. Come, try sensing it yourself. Identical powers must flow from the same source. It was the Wild Hunt, then, that took my form and killed the Sergeant Major. But why do this?
To sow chaos by depriving the Lightkeepers of one of their commanders?
If the Wild Hunt's true form is powerful enough to stand against the world as you claim, I fear not even the full force of Lightkeepers could stand against him, let alone the handful of us stationed in Nasha Town. He would have no reason whatsoever to pick quarrels with individual ants. Let's look again more closely. We must leave no stone unturned. Well, that makes things simpler. In that case, allow me to disturb the fallen. May the ghost flame guide your spirit. May you rest in peace. When we fought, he seemed like quite a reckless foe. Certainly not the meticulous mastermind type. Yet here we are, grappling with this enigma he has left us.
Oh, if we can't get any leads, we might have to go back and find Nefer. Oh, the longer we're stuck here, the likelier he is to achieve his goal. Ugh, this is so frustrating! You mean this?
I'm not well versed in machinery, but that means his mechanical arm is malfunctioning, right? It might have been broken in combat.
No, that's not right. Paimon remembers this signal. We saw it before while repairing the cannon. It doesn't mean that the components are damaged. It just means that they're due for regular maintenance, so the device has stopped operating. But the real problem is that... Yeah, he even helped us find the maintenance port. It could still be a coincidence, but considering it hasn't been long at all since we were repairing that cannon...
The Soci you met could have been Rerir in disguise. In other words, he played the Sergeant Major before disguising himself as me.
That's right! If only there were some way to prove it.
You mean Hintsa?
We had a short chat with him once at the tavern, but It's so late. Guess it'll have to wait till tomorrow.
I know where he lives. The situation is critical, so let us now take up the role of uninvited guests ourselves. Ah, yes. And one more thing. Remember to pick me up by the window.
Ah, die haben wir mit Neffa getroffen, Leute. Bei dieser Bar. Wechsel den Mondrahmen. Was? Was ist... What the hell? Freigeschaltet? Noch 6 Tage in neuen Mojo-Auftrag verfügbar. Was? Wie nur noch 6 Tage? Ach du Scheiße, Leute. Ganz kurz. Ganz kurz. Das heißt ja klar, sie muss dann wirklich versuchen, heute und morgen die Story zu beenden. Definitiv. Wie es scheint. Sie sitzt da vorne. Warum sitzt sie auf einmal da? Die sitzt da. Die sitzt da. Sie fängt an zu singen. Abzeichnung ansehen. Nö. Nichts. Hä? Ah, ich kann darauf klicken sogar. Sie singt. Ich kann sie ansprechen.
Shh. They're asleep.
Wow. Okay. Dann lass mal weiter schlafen. Okay, Leute, also wie es scheint, muss ich mich echt sputen, wie es scheint. Noch 6 Tage steht da. Und dabei singst du. Crazy. Na gut, okay, Leute. Aber wir haben noch genug Zeit, das sind 6 Tage. Ich mache mir jetzt echt nicht so viele Gedanken. Tatsächlich, das kriegen wir echt gut gebacken. Man muss mal überlegen, wir haben jetzt schon wieder ein paar Aufnahmen schon wieder hinter uns, wo wir Flints Story jetzt gemacht haben. Ich denke mal, so lange dauert das jetzt auch nicht. Also es können auf jeden Fall wieder über 10 Folgen sein. Höchstwahrscheinlich. Denke ich mal. Aber wir haben schon 5 fertig. Wenn man nachdenkt. Na, ist schon gut durch, muss ich ehrlich sagen. Das ist neu, halt, dass das Schwert so eine Attacke, dass es so einen Glitzerfunken hat, wenn ich nicht mit dem Schwert angreife. Nach oben. Das ist halt neu, Leute. Und ich muss zugeben, das Schwert, was wir haben, passt zu Lumin einfach mega gut. Richtig gut. Vielleicht finden wir immer mal ein neues Schwert. Das Schwert ist schon ein Weilchen her, dass wir das Schwert haben. Ich kann mich erinnern zum Beispiel, dass wir mit Lumin tatsächlich, Leute... hier, warte mal. Wo ist das Schwert? Dass wir eine lange Zeit mit Lumin das Schwert hier hatten. Die ganze Zeit. Wir hatten ständig dieses Schwert. Mit ihr. Und jetzt kämpft sie die ganze Zeit mit diesem Schwert hier die ganze Zeit. Tatsächlich. Vielleicht soll das für die Spieler auch sagen, dass es eigentlich dass es ihr Schwert hier sein soll. Naja. Woher hat sie ja immer mit so einer mit so einer Waffe die ganze Zeit gekämpft. In den Aufnahmen. Daran kann ich mich auch noch erinnern. Immer mit der Zeit haben sie es so gemacht, dass es jetzt dass es jetzt so ein Schwert wurde. Aber wir laufen mit diesem Schwert rum. Ich finde das Schwert ganz okay. Passt auch. Aber ich frage mich gerade ganz kurz, warte mal. Was gibt denn dieses Schwert bitte, dass man ständig sie mit diesem Schwert immer sieht? Wo ist denn das? Nochmal. Wo war denn das jetzt nochmal? Hä, wo ist denn das? Bin ich jetzt gerade blöd? Oh, ich hab's sogar auf 2. Das ist ja faszinierend. Wo war denn das Schwert das nochmal? Hier. Erhöht die AG und die Verteidigung bei Treffer mit Standangriffen und heftigen Schlägen. 4% FIFA stapelbar. Physischer Schaden eigentlich, ne? Das Schwert wäre geil. Eigentlich tatsächlich. Das könnte auch mit Lumin tatsächlich ein bisschen passen, wenn ich über nachdenke. Hat Kritrate. Hat ein bisschen Blau, dieses Weißliche. Wir haben Blau, dieses Weißliche. Ich muss ehrlich gestehen, hätten wir das Schwert nicht, Leute, hätten wir wahrscheinlich das Blaue jetzt genommen. Höchstwahrscheinlich. Dann hätten wir dieses blaue Schwert jetzt genommen mit der Kritrate. Na dann. Kann aber auch sein, dass wir immer einen Charakter ziehen, der das physische Damage braucht, zum Beispiel. Dann würden wir dieses Schwert wahrscheinlich auch Lumin abnehmen und dir dann diese Waffe geben. Aber wahrscheinlich auch nicht, denke ich mal. Nach da. Na dann. Hoppala. Auf geht's.
Oh, it's you two. And Flint's. Given the hour, I guess it must be an emergency.
It is indeed. Our sincerest apologies for interrupting your rest. We are investigating a certain matter in connection with Sergeant Major Sosi. We'd like to know if he has sent you a request for maintenance to be performed on his mechanical arm.
Sosi. Oh, so the rumors I heard, are they true? You know what? Forget it. I'm sure it's complicated. No further questions from me. Just a moment. I need to check my records.
Thank you for your understanding.
Got it. 8 days ago, he came to request a round of regular maintenance. But as it happened, I had run out of the required components. His mechanical arm is especially sophisticated, having been designed by Aino personally. The parts, too, could only be made by her. As such, they usually take several days to arrive. In fact, this time, he even asked me if we could push his request forward. And I understood, completely. Not being able to use your hand, that's rough for anyone. But even more so if your job involves fighting out in the wild. So I did my best to convince Aino to rush the job. And eventually, the parts arrived. 3 days ago, if I remember correctly. I sent word to the Lightkeepers immediately, but he never showed up. I assumed he was just out on some mission or other. What's with those faces? Everything all right?
You've provided us with some very crucial information, Hintsa. You have our thanks. We can't make everything public yet, but once our investigation is complete, I will return to thank you and provide an explanation on behalf of all the Lightkeepers.
No worries. Just glad I could help.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night. Hope the investigation goes well.
Okay. Crazy. Unter 3
It seems
Tagen.
that it is as we guessed. The Sergeant Major Sosi you encountered while repairing the cannon was actually Rerir in disguise. 8 days ago, he had yet to act. But at some point after that, he attacked and imprisoned the Sergeant Major. With the immense gap in strength between them, the job was finished in a single blow. And thus Rerir had no opportunity to discover the malfunctioning mechanical arm. Perhaps his mastery of shapeshifting extends only to outward form, and not therefore to complex internal mechanisms. Hence his oversight of the uniquely mechanical traits of the Sergeant Major's arm, and in turn, this flaw in his disguise.
You're saying he thought no one would realize his mechanical arm was actually made of some kind of black muck on the inside, so long as it worked, right? Still seems like there's a lot of guesswork involved here, but it mostly makes sense.
This also has me stumped for the moment. The cannon has always been used to destroy the wild hunt, and it works as intended. But how would that help Rerir exactly? Assuming he plans to collect the fragments within wild hunt anomalies, firing the cannon works against him, since it would blast those fragments to smithereens.
So we solved one mystery, only to dig up another. Whew. This is getting Paimon kind of down. And sleepy too.
Yes, I'd say it is high time we took a break. Seems like there's a lot left to investigate. We'll have to fight Rerir eventually. And we'll do a poor job if we're not well rested.
Yeah, we should totally get some sleep first.
A reasonable suggestion. I have no doubt that my quarters have been turned inside out by now, at any rate. My colleagues have never failed to live up to my expectations of their discourtesy.
Well, guess we'll just have to pick you up as usual.
That would be good, yes. Feel free to put the room costs on my tab.
Phew, back inside. We can finally take a breather. Okay, Paimon. In and out.
I suppose we could all take a moment to unwind. As I recall, our first meeting took place not far from here. Ah, the nostalgia. Had you already sensed the unique power within my lantern at that time? I see. Words truly do fail to capture your superlative insight. Fortunate then that abyssal energy was only leaking from the fragment in minuscule amounts when we first met. Or I might have been in for a real interrogation.
Yeah, hard to say how that would have played out. We've had a whole bunch of unpleasant run-ins with the Abyss.
You mean to ask why I'm going this far to oppose him? Well, as a light keeper, I'd say I'm simply doing my job.
Yeah! You're covered in more mysteries than Paimon could shake a skewer at. You can't just get out of explaining yourself by making lame excuses.
All right. I suppose I do owe you some honesty, whether out of gratitude or the need to build trust. Your deductions have been quite correct. Should one wish to conceal oneself within a lantern, elemental power alone is not enough. You know humans well, and naturally you understand their limits. But some things that humans would consider difficult are quite normal in the eyes of non-humans.
So, you mean you're one of the latter?
Have you heard of how Snezhnaya was once the realm of the Fae? This race is no longer of any importance, but they still exist, as evidenced by the fact that I am standing before you.
We've heard some scattered legends, but that's all Paimon thought there was to it.
I once turned my heart toward humanity, and thus did I experience loss. I once labored and did much, and put an end to my tale with my own hands. When you realize you are floating in the middle of a vast ocean, you cannot help but feel that swimming in any direction would be equally meaningless. Would it not be better, then, to simply sink? But before I could sink to truly lightless depths, chance had it that I should be awakened by a band of Ratniki. They were facing a horde of abyssal monsters, and could not last against such a disparity in strength. Yet none fled. Those who dwell in darkness for long enough become exceedingly sensitive to all light. And the first light I saw upon awakening was that which shone from their eyes.
Is that why you chose to help them?
Perhaps I was moved by their valor. Perhaps I simply saw my past self in them, and was moved to action for the first time in a long, long while. But I was freshly awoken, and my powers were limited. I could not prevent casualties altogether. The survivors and I buried the fallen heroes. That was the origin of the Final Night Cemetery. Well, not exactly. I was just more familiar with them. So joining up seemed the most convenient way to experience human life.
Doesn't sound too believable.
Well, I believe it. Besides, I'm well past the age when one might believe in things that must be done. Nonetheless, there are still some things I will not allow to happen. The chaos that Rerir has been stirring up is one of them. Tomorrow I shall go and check our records to see if I can find any connection between the Wild Hunt, Rerir, and the Cannon.
Will you need us to get you where you need to be?
Oh, I'll be fine. I keep a backup copy at my residence in case of emergencies.
Can you even go back there right now? Won't there be Ratniki watching it?
Thanks for the reminder. I believe they'll have checked my place, but they won't have stayed. All things are ranked according to their priority, and we lack the manpower for such an open-ended stakeout. And even if someone is waiting, I have ways around that. I am the master of my own house, after all.
All right then, we'll trust you. We sure ended up chatting for a while, huh? I'm super tired now. But, you know, feels like we can breathe easier now that we know you better.
I didn't take you for the cautious sort. Anyway, I hope you'll help me keep this a secret. I'd prefer others not to know about my past unless strictly necessary. Nor do I want to attract more trouble on account of being a fae.
Paimon's lips are sealed too.
All right. Thanks again for your help. Good night, you two.
Finally, we can rest. Let's go get some sleep. There's tons to do tomorrow.
Geh in dein Zimmer und ruh dich aus. Okay, Leute. Ich würde sagen, das war's erstmal mit der Folge. Ja. Weil ich muss ehrlich gestehen, Leute, ich bin langsam müde geworden. Warte mal. Die Lauma ist größer. Aber auch nicht so groß. Aber ja. Ich freue mich auf jeden Fall, Leute, dass wir Lauma haben. Momentan ist noch nicht so viel in Einsatz mit ihr tatsächlich. Ich muss aber ehrlich gestehen, Leute, ich werde langsam auch müde. Es ist auch schon echt spät. Deswegen. Und also für euch nicht, für mich schon. Weil bei mir ist schon nachts. Ich sehe gar nicht, es ist dunkel. Ja. Genau. Wir verabschieden uns damit erstmal. Die Folge ist halt wieder ein bisschen kürzer. Ist aber nicht so schlimm. Wir sehen uns damit in der nächsten Folge wieder. Und dann bin ich mal gespannt, was das alles so erwarten wird, Leute. Euer Masho mit Lauma, ne? Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschaußen.